Welcome to Tea and Cornbread, a conversation with Shawne and Tracy, where warmth, wisdom, and community come together. Just like a good meal shared with loved ones, our podcast brings heartfelt conversations with incredible people who are making a difference.
We spotlight community leaders, change makers, and everyday heroes who uplift, encourage, and support those around them. Grab a cup of tea, pull up a chair, and join us as we share inspiring stories, real talk, and a whole lot of love. Because when we come together, we nourish more than just our bodies, we feed our souls. Hey, everybody. It's Tea and Cornbread with Shawne and Tracy. And I'm Tracy.
And I am Shawne.
Hey, my people. How are you doing?
We back in the studio. We've been in the streets
for real.
Wow.
We've been busy.
I hope you all were able to see what we've been doing out there.
Yes.
With authors and events that are going on
Judge
in our
Mosley.
area. Yes.
Yeah, we've been around. Like Shawne said, I hope you guys are watching
Tuning
our
in.
podcast. If you aren't watching it and haven't subscribed, please do so. Get your friends and family to subscribe. I be taking people's phones.
Yeah, so do I.
I be taking people's phones.
So do I.
Click. They be like, "What you doing? Don't worry about it."
I signed a lady up in the airport. She was from Dublin.
Nice.
She was from another country.
Awesome. Yes.
I was like, wow.
Yes.
Yep. All right. So we're going to do what we do. We're going to start with our breathing, then our devotional. And today we got purification. Purification does just that. Purifies the air. It's great for our lungs. It's great for allergies. It's great for clearing the dust mites in the air when you diffuse it. Purifies the air. All right. Okay. So we're going to deep breathe, make our feet flat. I have some grounding shoes on today. All right. We're going to breathe. Inhale through the nose. Hold it for 4, 3, 2, 1. Then exhale for 5 seconds. Inhale again. We are inhaling our intent and focus to our conversation today, and we're going to exhale all that doesn't serve us. Whatever anxiety we may have, we're always nervous before we do an episode, so this is what calms our nerves down. Mm-hmm. But if you are a person that always has some type of anxiety before you do anything or when you get up in the morning, whatever, deep breathing is going to help you calm your central nervous system down and bring down your cortisol levels. So inhale one more time. Exhale.
All right.
Yes.
Listen.
All right, now I'm going to read Jesus is Calling for August 2nd. It says, bring me the sacrifice of your time. Bring me the sacrifice of your time, a most precious commodity. In this action, addicted world, few of my children take time to sit quietly in my presence. But for those who do, blessings flow like streams of living water. I, the one from whom all blessings flow, am also blessed by our time together. This is a deep mystery. Do not try to fathom it. Instead, glorify me by delighting in me, enjoy me now forever. Scripture reference is Psalms 21:6. You have endowed him with internal blessings and given him the type of joy of your presence. John 7:38. Anyone who believes in me may come and drink, for the scriptures declares rivers of living water will flow from his heart. And then Psalms 103:11. For his unfailing love towards those who fear him is as great as the height of the heavens above the earth. And then one more, Psalms 34:3. Glorify the Lord with me. Let us exalt his name together.
Amen. Yes. Well, first of all, we just want to say thank you and welcome back. We know that Tea and Cornbread, like we said, we've been missing in the studios, but we've been outside. We've been in the streets. So we just want to continue our conversations that we have, and we talk about life, health, faith, We talk about wisdom, things that are going on in our communities, not just within Waterbury. So we hope that you're enjoying what we're bringing you. And again, we always say, if there's something you want to talk about, let us know.
Let us know.
Put it in the comments. Because we, I'm going to say my sister's arm reach very far. We've talked to people in California.
Your arm reaches very far too.
Like I said, her arm reaches far. So it does not only have to be what's going on in our community, but we do like to highlight the people that we are around.
Right.
Because a lot of times we are sitting in the rooms with people or grew up with people, and we don't
even
know
have a
what
clue.
they have going on. So again, thank you, but let us know. Let us
Yeah.
know if we are giving you what you need.
Yes.
If you want to see some
More.
things that we're not talked about, but we don't know unless you let us know. So.
Because her and I can go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah,
with what we
do
think
this
you
just
might want to hear,
right.
which is fine in one sense. Like today.
Right.
Today is our new segment on Here's the Tea,
Tea with me,
Tracy.
Yes. So what that is too, it's kind of just a spin-off of what Tea and Cornbread is, just perspective of things that I would like to talk about that may be going on in my life, or things like Shawne said, we have conversations with people on a personal level. So again, here's the tea. Let me know what you want to hear, what you want to talk about, what you got going on that may affect your life. Not just your life, your community. Sometimes we don't know what's going on because we don't get involved. And I'm going to step back to Friday. We did your segment, and I do apologize. What was it called? The Zoom we had.
Oh,
which I thought your
that
black
was,
excellent.
Oh, yeah. That was it. It wasn't mine, but I'm part of a Facebook group called Healthy Living Praise.
Okay.
Healthy Living Praise group, and it was a conversation on the attack of black excellence. And they talked more about the political realm of it all and what's happening from the White House, what's happening from, Congress, what Congress is dealing with, and different laws that are being stripped that's being stripped, or new laws that are coming out that we have no clue that's taking away our rights.
Right.
That's what that conversation was about. And it wasn't long enough because we didn't even touch we just touched the surface of of the conversation her and I had in her goal for the conversation. But there was some great people on there, and what I'll do is I'll put their information in the chat of some people that are running for Congress and that are in the White House and making some strides.
They're seeing stuff firsthand.
Yeah.
You said the conversation wasn't long enough. And I'll be the first one to raise my hand on this. I think the conversations are happening not just with this group that we had on Friday, because I've been in a room of other groups, but what's next? We start with step one, but I don't know that we get to step two. Like I said, I'll raise my hand. Yeah, I'll raise my hand on that, because I could take accountability to say, well, what are you doing, Tracy? But I think that's part of our issue as a community. We doing a lot of talking. We ain't doing a lot of walking.
We're not doing a lot of walking. And I want to take that back, right? In our community, there's a lot of people making changes that are doing actions,
I don't want to belittle that.
No,
I don't want to belittle that.
What I'm saying is because you know me, I'm always like, okay, that's all well and fine, and we can have this conversation, but what are we going to do about it? Collectively, collaboratively, cooperatively, right? What are we going to do about it? And there's so many organizations that are doing, in our community, helping people from housing to food,
Right.
And so I don't want to say that we're not doing anything. We are. Just the conversations that are being had on a regular basis, in that room, I'm like, okay, when you talk about when we need to step up, we need to make our are they the constituents or we're the constituents? the political
parties.
Not the parties, but
the people that we put into place,
the politicians,
we have to hold
period.
them accountable.
Hold them accountable for what they say they want to do or what they say they're going to do, right? And not just during election time.
Right.
And
but that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Not so much people that we're not doing. I think there's a lot of conversations. There are a lot of people doing stuff, but a lot of times we start the conversations, but there's no step two.
Right.
They are giving back. We do have a lot of organizations that are out there. Are we always reaching the people we need to reach too? That's another thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And like, how are we giving them a hand up?
Right. Because sometimes I always see the same faces of stuff that we may go to.
Right.
You give back to the community.
It's the same
matter.
people.
It's always those same people.
Right.
So are we not reaching the right people? Are we not giving the information to the people that need it? Or are we not coming out? Are we thinking, not me, I don't need? You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it is. I'm just saying.
I don't either.
I was last year. I went to, was it last year or this year? I don't even remember. Willow Street neighborhood, and when we had these conversations of how we're going to do better and what we're going to do. Excellent conversations, and lots of people in the room had so much that, like you said, going on in the community. But I didn't get an invite to a second meeting. It's like we can't stop. We got to keep going.
Yeah.
You know, we got to keep helping, no matter where we are or what we're doing. That's all I'm saying.
But what I remember, if you correct me if I'm wrong, they were doing prayer each week out there. But what did that entail? You know, so for instance, was it prayer and resources? Did people stop and have prayer and then say, this is what I need? And if so, what was done from there, if that happened? Because that's the thing, we don't know. And then there's a lot of people that may be embarrassed about what they need, or
definitely.
know, things like that.
People don't want you in their business,
right? And so, I mean, locally, I believe that we are doing something, right? Locally. My question was, in that call that we had on Friday, my question was, okay, you want us to do something. What is it exactly that you want us to do? Because I even mentioned, I said, yes, I vote. I make sure I vote each time, but it still feels like my vote doesn't count. I'm not even going to sit here in front, right?
Right.
My vote,
well, you
I
hear
feel
that
like
a lot. You hear that from the younger generation a lot.
And I'm not young.
Right.
You know, so my vote feels like it doesn't count because we're still, these bills are still being passed, or, you know, they're still dismantling life, right?
Yeah. Right
basically,
around us, right?
The way for us to live, right?
Yeah.
In creating these
narratives that don't fit life.
fit, right? And they don't care about us as black people.
Well, never did.
I'm not talking black and brown. I'm talking black because that's what I am, right? I am black, right? And I'm not disregarding anybody.
Right.
All I'm saying is
we got to take care of
when
home
it comes
too.
down to it, when we talk about the black woman, period, right? It's all over. How many 300,000 women were let go of their jobs, lost their jobs, and they were all black. They're talking just black women. I don't know if they're saying black and brown women, but when I see it, they're saying black women, right? And so, what is that all about? Like, what is that all about? If anything, we're the ones that's the most compassionate, the ones that take care of the next, the ones that always lead with the heart, you know, and still getting paid less, but we still do it regardless. But that's a different rabbit hole. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. But all I'm saying is, okay, what do we do? For me, I'm like, listen, what did we used to do? When we looked at how our village, and you know, you and I go back to our village all the time.
Right.
That is missing in the new generation community, right?
I agree.
That's what's missing. How do we get back to how do we create that, right? With this new generation, and showing them that if we lock arms together, it doesn't matter who's trying to break us down, because they can't break the chain. You know, if we lock our arms together, and locking our arms together could mean, and you know me, I'm always talking about food. So if I grow lettuce, you grow cucumbers, our other neighbor grow tomatoes, we can eat.
Right.
We can eat for free.
Yeah. Well, I think the problem with that is, and again, I'll speak for myself, I don't know my neighbors to that degree. How we grew up is not how my neighborhood is right now.
Right.
Not for any other reason. I think moving fast, people moving in and out of neighborhood, you just sometimes feel like you're not compatible with the people next door.
Right.
Not for any reason though, because I
There's no
don't
real
have any
reason.
problems with them. But like you said, we always go back to how we grew up, and our children miss that. And I think a part of missing that was moving up and out,
Moving up and out.
you
Thank
know, and we never
right.
ever, we've kept our relationship, don't get us wrong.
Right.
But I
We
think
moved
for
up and
us,
out.
we moved up and out, and part of the missed opportunity, and again, speaking for myself, I think we missed it where we didn't ensure that our kids stayed,
Grew up together.
you know, some of them know some of them, but
they
they
didn't
don't
grow
know
up
each
together.
other like
Right.
we know each
No,
other.
they didn't.
They know each other enough to speak to each other. Hey, how you doing? That's Shawne, that's Cheyenne, you know, that's Tracy, that's Terrence. They know each other.
Right.
We know them, but I think that missed opportunity was, for me, life. Working,
Me too.
taking care of,
Yeah.
you know, and just moving, just taking care of what you had to take care of.
Right.
So how do we get back to that? We just got to make it happen
Especially even now with our grandkids.
with our grandkids.
And that
There
segues
you go.
into your topic
Oh,
today,
yes,
right?
it does.
It segues into your
It
topic.
really does,
With
yeah.
our grandkids, I mean, you know, it's never too late to start something new
No.
and better. It's
No.
never too late to start something new and better. As long as we have breath in our bodies, we can start something new and better,
Yes.
right? As everybody thinks it's too late. Oh, I'm too old. I'm this,
No.
I'm that, whatever. But that segues into our topic today. So let's talk
Yeah.
about it.
Well, what I wanted to talk about was, I said to my sister, what type of grandmother are you? Well, you know what? Let me rephrase that. What type of grandparent are we? And you know, like I said, we're speaking from Shawne and Tracy's perspective. And the reason that
Only.
question, yes, yes. The reason that question came up, because I think there's a different relationship, and I preface this and say not a different love, but I think there's a different relationship when she has a daughter and I have sons. And my grandchildren, my relationship with my grandchildren, I love 8 of them, but it's hard being the grandmother of a son. The relationship with my grandchildren, I love them all, and I will, you know, always stand on that. But I think you as being, and I can't speak for you because I don't have a granddaughter. I have granddaughters. I don't have a daughter. Cheyenne probably is able to call mom whenever. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm not called upon like that. But if I don't do, I'm an absent grandmother, if that makes sense. And I try to treat everybody fair, but I'm dancing to the tune of these women, not so much taking care of the grandchildren the way I want to take care of them. And I'll prime example, I'll call them and say, hey, could they come over? I want to take them to the park. Not today, they got something to do. But the following weekend, I'll get a call and say, can you babysit? I want to go away for the weekend. No. How about no? No. And I'm at that point because I think before my guards were down, and no matter what they want, no matter what they needed, I ran. You know, my oldest always says, Terrence always says, if you treat them like a child, they always going to be a baby. So if you start saying no, and you say it too, no is a complete sentence. So that was the topic I wanted to talk about. What type of grandparent are you? The love isn't different, but I think the relationship is different.
So I think about as a kid myself, right? We always say you're closer to your mother's, your
Side.
family.
Yeah.
You're closer to as a daughter,
Right.
Right. You're closer to your mother's side than you are your dad's side, even if your parents were together in the same house. I used to say that as a kid. And I was fortunate at the same time to still have a great relationship with my
both
father's
sides.
side, right?
Yes.
And now my dad was in the house, and my mother and father died married together, right? They weren't together, but they. But he was out the house from the time I was 7 or 8 years old. But I always had a relationship with my dad, and
Right.
always had a relationship with his family. It was a little different though. I stayed at my grandmother's all the time, which was my mother's mother, right?
Right.
And so that's what we say, right? And it is different because my cousins were different. My first cousins, right?
Yes.
My uncle's kids, we all grew up together in a way, but still we spent the most time with my grandmother. My mother's, you know what I mean? My siblings spent the most time with my grandmothers and everything like that. And the same for them with their mother's side.
Right.
So I don't know what that's about,
Yeah.
but that's kind of how it is, right? And now with my kids, I want to say they may say that they spent almost the same amount of time for both sides, but more really on their father's side because I was close to theirs.
I was going to say that about my boys too.
Yeah.
I think they grew up more with the Johnson side than
they did with your
my
mom,
side,
right?
my mother's side.
So we have both,
Yes.
both scenarios, right?
Yeah.
And so when we go to now, we are grandparents, right? And you've been a grandparent longer than I have, but still, it is different. It is different. Shy, my kids are close to their dad's side too.
Yes, hands down.
Yeah, hands down. They're close to both sides. But when it comes down to the baby, I don't know. It's just different.
Yeah.
It's different. Yes, we have a close relationship, and Shy can just call me and be like, Ma, can, and a lot of times I'll go, no, because I got a meeting, or no,
Right.
I won't,
Right.
And so I don't know. It's just different, but I have a great relationship even with the dad.
Right.
I have a great
And that's
relationship.
important.
Yep.
That's so important.
And a great relationship with his mom, right? And Cheyenne is intentional of making sure that baby knows his
both
grandmother,
sides. Yes.
like she does, right? So that makes a difference too, because it's not about can you watch the baby.
It's about relationships.
It's about relationships.
He needs to know his side, both sides.
And she lives in Philly. So Shy's point, one day we were talking, and she was saying she wanted to make sure that he knows his grandparents on the other side just as well, right? And she makes that effort.
Yeah.
It's not about them babysitting.
Right.
It's about them, when she goes to Philly. Matter of fact, she stays at the grandmother's house when she goes to Philly, right? And so that right there creates that relationship with his grandparents. Yes. There's no, I only see them in the summer. There's no...
only in the holidays.
Right, only in the holidays.
If I need you to babysit.
Exactly. It's not that, right?
Yeah.
It is relationship. And the other thing, too, is his grandmother would drop, stop, and,
roll for
him, right? Because they have a relationship. Right. So if her and the dad broke up, it's not going to change that relationship.
Really, right. As it should not.
As it should not.
As it should not. And
right?
I think I'm faced with that issue, though.
Okay.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
But I think I'm faced with that issue, and this is what makes the relationship hard, because I was told recently, what was the word that was used? I'm not consistent with one of the grandchildren. What is consistency to you? Because first of all, I don't owe you anything.
Let's stop and pause right there. Say it again.
And that's why I think that people don't understand. I don't owe you anything.
You don't.
And we've already had the whole conversation about it's about the grandchild at the end of the day.
Right.
And
it's not the grandparents' responsibility to build a relationship with that grandchild.
Right.
It's your responsibility to make sure
it happens.
That they have that relationship.
It's my children, my son's responsibility.
Right.
And when they fall short, and you as a grandparent try to
fill in the gap,
you get that really that really sent me somewhere with those comments, because that grandchild doesn't get anything less than the others got. So I don't know what
if they
I don't know what that
are
meant.
they talking time, or are they talking monetary?
I get it. I don't get it.
Materialistic,
right,
or whatever. But
yeah, that's a hard one.
So
what does that mean?
I know,
but I didn't want to have the conversation because I had to.
Because they're not going to understand it. First off, because
they've already made up their mind.
Right, they're coming from an aspect of you don't do what I want you to do.
When you want to be,
When I want you to
that's
do
part
it.
of the problem too.
Because that's my child.
That's part of the problem too. I mean, let me tell you, and not to get too personal, that is part of the problem. I remember one time it was her birthday, and I said, "Oh, I'm going to come over, bring her a gift. Yeah, come before X amount of time because we're having a party." Not
You
you're
didn't
invited
invite-
to
yeah,
the
you
party.
didn't invite me to the
but
party?
come X amount of time because we're having a party. So this
And
is why I say that.
wait.
Yes.
Wait a minute. So this is where they don't understand,
No,
right?
it's about
because they
them,
want to
though.
control things,
Yep.
and they want to make you feel like that you're not welcome. Because to me, that means you're not invited, but you can bring her gift.
bring her
but
gift.
then you're gonna cuss me out when I'm not available when you want me. No,
Yeah.
that's not
Yeah.
how that goes.
Yeah.
And if you understand that relationship, that I don't technically really have to have a relationship with you.
Right.
Right. But when we talk about my grandkid, my grandchild, I'm going to do what I need to do for my grandchild on my terms, not yours.
Exactly.
And then for you to say to me and think I'm supposed to be all right with it, come at this time because we're having a party. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Right.
Why am I excluded from the party when you want me to be consistent
Yeah.
as the grandmother? Consistency is on your time.
Yes.
Girl.
I don't even know what that meant or how. I didn't even want to try to fill in the gaps, but I told the person, I said, well, they don't get anything less or more than the next group does. So I don't know what you were looking for. But I mean, just to leave that where it's at, I do think there's a different relationship that you have when you have a son versus a daughter.
Yeah.
And
Well, and like you said, it's your son's responsibility
Right.
to make sure that you have that relationship with
Their
their
child.
child
Yes.
or and even with the mother. You got to have a relationship with the mother in order for it to be peaceful, right? To a certain extent, and they got to want it. And if they don't want it, then there's nothing you can really do about
Yeah.
it, right? But at the same time, it's like if anybody is thinking of the child, right?
period. That's all it's about.
You have
though.
to think about that child, because let me tell you, when that child gets older, I'm like this with my nieces and nephews, filling in the gap. Because my brothers didn't
keep that
make sure that
relationship.
we have
Right.
a relationship. I did. I made sure that they grew up with my kids, that they knew their first cousins, and also to make sure that, you know what, when y'all in the street, if y'all mad at each other, y'all better not show it. Y'all better have each other's back,
No matter
so
what.
on and so forth, right? But that was starting from toddlers, from kids, you know what I mean? And even with my godsons, I would have my godsons with me when they were little, and having building a relationship with my kids and things like that with them. And then as they got older and everybody did their own thing, like you said, moved up, moved out, that dissipated a little bit, but still at the same time they remember.
Right.
And my nieces and nephews, even now, I make sure I have a relationship with them and they're grown. They're all grown.
Right.
But now they have children. So I make sure too, listen, y'all gotta make sure you bring your kids around me so that they know who
you
Auntie
are.
is, right?
Right.
And whenever we do family things, I'm making sure that the kids are there, all the kids, right?
It's family oriented.
It's fun, right?
Yeah.
And my niece Shakia, Anyway, we went down. She lives in North Carolina, so we went down for her oldest daughter's graduation, high school graduation. And one of the things she said to me was, "Auntie," she says, "I was telling my friends that my father's side is totally different, right?" She says, "My father's side is totally different, and you all didn't even disappoint." She says, "When y'all came down here, my friends saw the difference, and it was automatic. There was
But that started with your mom too, because I
started
remember
with
when
my
she was
mom.
born, your mother that was her granddaughter, regardless of what was going on.
Right.
Yeah.
And she was raised with us.
Right.
She was raised with us. And so she mentioned that. And that was, it felt good.
Yeah, because she grown with children and she still remembers that.
Exactly. And we went down there the way we do and did what we had to do.
Showed up. Let her know.
and her whole mother's side of the family is down there.
Yeah.
And it was a whole, they were
But
absent.
that made her feel good, and then let her children know, look at this. This is what family does for
Right,
each other.
right.
Even though they're not here in the same state with us, they still here to support.
And it's the relationship.
It's the
And then we
relationship.
go up and down. It's not that we.
But that's normal. If you would sit here and say that everything is perfect and you guys have no qualms, that would be crazy.
There was a time when she didn't speak to me and I didn't speak to her and this, that, and the other.
We've
and
all
all of
been
that.
there. We've
Right.
all been there.
And it's like, yep, okay, what?
Yeah.
And, if, you need something, if I have it, I got it. If I don't have it, I don't have
Yeah.
it. Plain and simple. There's no automatic, you have
Right.
to. Because if you think automatically I have to, you
But
have a problem.
I think that is a misconception, and I love that you stayed close with them, because I think I stayed pretty close with my nieces and my nephews growing up with them. I sometimes reference them as my children,
Yeah.
even though they're not.
Yeah.
I would never say I'm your mom or anything like that. But I heard someone say to one of their aunts, "You never came for me," and I had to take a deep breath and mind my business because it wasn't being said to me. But in my head, I was thinking, how unfair is that? How unfair was that? Because what was your mom and dad doing?
Right.
And I think that's where we get mixed up, to put all that on us
Somebody
as
else.
grandparents,
Right.
us as aunties,
Right.
uncles, whoever.
Right.
What was your parents doing?
Right.
But I had to mind my business because it wasn't my conversation.
Right.
But
the bottom line, it's the parents of the child's
Right.
responsibility
Right.
for making sure that they have relationships with the people that are important
In
to
their
them,
lives, yeah.
in their lives. And you have to bite the bullet if you don't get along with the grandparent, if you don't get along with, because everybody's circumstance is different, right?
Right.
If you don't get along, because I was blessed to get along with my mother-in-law, right? I was blessed to get along with
Same.
her. And
you
that's-
hear horror stories.
Exactly.
You hear horror stories.
right?
Yes.
And not that we didn't have our issues, because we
Right,
did.
right.
But at the same time, I didn't drive a wedge in between them and my
relationship.
my
Yes.
kids.
Yep. You didn't
right?
put the children in the
I
middle.
did
They
not
weren't
put them in the
bargaining
middle.
chips.
Now, I could tell you, I had a situation where, yes, the kids were put in the middle, but still at the same time, I stood my ground.
Right.
Because I knew it wasn't about my kids. It was about me.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And the issues that we were having. Still, it was my responsibility
Yeah.
to make sure that their relationship wasn't tainted.
Right.
So, like, for instance, I grew up with my mom would talk about my dad in a way where it's like, why she always talk like that about him? This and that, blah, blah, blah. And my dad was there. It wasn't
Yeah.
that he wasn't there. He was there. But as I got older, I understood why she did. Because he was a trip. He was a trip. But still, even with that, when my kids were born, I had to, like, my mom favored the boys over the girls. Always. Right?
I wonder why.
I don't know. What they say? They say moms love their sons and raise their daughters.
Okay.
Right?
I've heard that before.
Yeah, mom would love their sons and raise their daughters. So she would treat the boys different. She always did, right? And it was an incident where Cheyenne came home and was like, I don't think Nana likes me.
Wow.
And I was like, why? She was like 4.
Wow.
I said, why? And when she said what she said,
She was a little bit tougher on her. Wanting her to be so independent at 4 years old.
No, that wasn't it. She just liked boys better than she liked girls.
Well,
And-
I could say I think my mom
was the same.
babied my brother.
Oh,
But She
yeah.
would always say,
Oh yeah.
he's my only son.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, what?
Yeah. And that's why they off
He's
the
my
hook.
only son.
That's why the boys are off the hook when it
Yeah.
comes down to certain
They don't get
things.
as much. I don't know how it was in your household, but he took out the garbage. He didn't wash the dishes. Like what?
Well,
Why
yeah.
can't he wash the dishes?
Well, no, my mom she was even when it came to that. They had to mop the floors and do the garbage and all that, and I had to do the dishes in the bathroom type of thing, right? But at the same time, it was still my responsibility to make sure that my daughter understood that her grandmother still loved her.
Mm-hmm.
But me and my mother had a private conversation.
Okay.
And
Was that your responsibility, or do you think it was your mom's
Nope.
responsibility to reinforce her?
That was my responsibility.
But how did you feel how did you feel leaving her with her? Not that she was abusive, but did you feel like...
I got the answer to
Okay.
that question
Okay.
because we went through it. We did. What I would say to Cheyenne was, listen, if you don't want to go to Nana's house, you don't have to. That's what I would do.
Okay.
Right? Because I don't want you feeling uncomfortable. If you feel uncomfortable,
Right.
then, you don't
stay
have to
away
go.
from there, yeah.
Right. So even now, okay, I won't, kind of. I'm like that with my kids. If you don't feel comfortable, I take their side first.
Right.
I take their side first no matter what. If you don't feel comfortable in any situation, wherever you are, I don't care who it is.
Right.
If it's your father, I don't care who it is.
Right.
If you don't feel comfortable, you call me. I will get you out of that situation, or you don't have to go. Mm-hmm. And if you want to be disrespectful to whoever's house it is, you ain't going.
Right.
That's their house.
Right.
That's their house. I'm not going to let you go to somebody's house and act a fool. And then I got to fight somebody, because...
And I'm pretty sure they knew that without you saying
but
it,
they
though,
were
too.
taught that. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
They
So
knew that.
Right, they knew that. You be respectful no matter what, right? And this is what's missing also, because what happens is when you have grandchildren and you don't have a relationship with the mothers or whatever, they pit you against them.
Right.
And in a way where they'll go, oh, your grandmother doesn't this, that, and the other, blah, 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 or say this to your grandmother, or don't do, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
That kind of thing. And you're going to regret it later.
Right.
Because when they get older and they realize the truth, because the truth will come out.
Oh, no, it will.
The truth will come out. When they get older and realize the truth, you're going to regret the way your child is going to treat you as an adult.
As an adult, yep. Because they're going to have questions at the end of the day.
I've seen it.
And that's what, I've talked to my Aunt Nada about it, and she's like, just let it go. You got to let it go. As much as I'm fighting and arguing and texting, and
Nope.
she's not budging. And it really hurts me because at the end of the day, you're hurting the grandchild.
child.
And as a matter of fact, I had one of the other grandchildren say to me, when is she coming around? I've never met her. And she hasn't met her because I've never independently had the opportunity to have her at the house. And she's not little when I tell you this. But I did too much coddling. I didn't say, hey, I'm picking up, or hey, drop her off. I didn't, because I'm skating on thin ice with her. So I'm trying to still wiggle my way in, only to be told, and this, and I am talking about it, and it is a personal thing. She has 3 grandmothers and 2 dads. Not my son is a dad, but she has 2 other people she's calling dads and 3 grandmothers. And my last comment was, she's straight then. I have nothing else to say right now. I have nothing else to say. It is what it is. But I have to also let it go and know, by the grace of God, it's going to work itself out.
It will. It will. That absolutely, it will.
Yeah.
Right? It will. Because there was a time where you got to be careful.
Yes.
sometimes,
No,
right?
I was going to
But at
say
the
that.
same
That's why I
time,
said I'm getting very personal,
yeah,
but
that's okay. That's
it's-
okay at the same time, because you know what?
needs to be talked about.
That, right?
Because I know I'm not the only one going through this.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. When a kid will say to you, I didn't think you loved me, or I didn't think you cared about me, or I didn't da-da-da-da-da, and you don't want to go down the rabbit hole of the issues that you had,
Right.
as, with the parents or whoever, right? Whoever was
Right.
blocking that relationship. The only thing that you can say is, I always loved you, and I will always love you, and you and I can go from here
And move forward.
with our relationship. I always wanted a relationship with you. And when you say that, because some kids feel like, well, why I can't go over to my other grandmother's house, or
Right.
why can't I go on vacation with my other grandmother, or and things like that. And then you don't know what the parent is saying to them.
You don't know.
And you don't want to speculate either. But they're saying something that ain't right because they're keeping you from them.
Keeping you from them.
Right. And if they understand that a relationship, if you build a relationship that is honest, loving, you will get so much more from that other grandparent, right? You would get so much more with just an apology. You would get so much more because you could start right now. You don't have to. I mean, damage could be done, but damage could be reversed.
I was going to say it's not so bad that it can't be undone.
It could be reversed. Absolutely.
We have a ways to go, but I just have to leave it in God's hands, like I said, and just pray on it. But what type of grandparent am I? I would say, I think that I'm a loving, compassionate grandparent. You know, love all my grandchildren, saying, like it always says, you know, and you don't have to deal with this because you only have the one. Oh, you love such and such more. No, I don't. Right. I go back to saying I have a different relationship, and the relationship is different because some of those grandchildren pick up the phone. Right. Some of them text and say, hey, grandma, older. How you doing? What's going on? You okay? Right. Where the other ones don't pick up the phone at all. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I'm expected to keep in touch with everybody, and I do to the best of my ability, but sometimes time gets away with you. And this is what I think they forget too. I got a life. Yeah. I'm out here living and dealing with stuff too, like work, personal, just life. Everybody's living.
Yeah, just like they are.
Exactly.
The other thing is too, I have one biological child, but I have 4 other.
You do, and I apologize for that.
No. I have 4 other grandkids, right? And it is still different because I'm the step grandmother. You know what I mean? It's still different.
Wait, do they treat you like a step? You used the word step.
I did. But I'm the bonus grandmother. I'm gonna say it that way, right? I'm the bonus grandmother.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Good.
I mean,
no good.
Yeah, I don't think so. But at the same time, I'm that person that forges a relationship myself. You know what I mean? So, like for instance, I had the 2 older ones the other day. And I said, hey, y'all want to go bowling? Let's go bowling, you know? Yeah. And so that's what I did. And so, no, I don't think they treat me like a, you know, I don't think so.
I think that word step, I think we need to get rid of it. Because, and you, just like you said, you changed it to say bonus. Yeah. Because I think it has that stigma of wicked stepmother. And it's not always the case.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
You know, it's not.
Yeah, no, that's not it.
We've come so far from that.
Right. And so I build my own relationship with my bonus daughters and with their children. Right. You know what I mean? Right. And it's still, I think we have a pretty good relationship.
No, you do.
We do. And I try to, you know, we don't see them all the time, but they know at the same time that I'm here and that they can call me.
They are loved.
And that they love.
They are
exactly.
loved.
They feel safe with me.
That's all that matters.
That makes a big difference. They feel safe. Matters. And their mothers are, you know, when I call and I go, hey, I want to do this with the kids or whatever.
They're open if they're not doing anything.
Exactly. Period. Yeah. And I try to give them time and not, you know, I try to give them time. Sometimes I go, you know what, today I can go and do whatever. Let me go pick the kids up. See if they're open,
you know, are they not doing anything?
And I don't always have my grandson. Right. You know, I don't always have him because sometimes, you know, because he's younger, right? And so the older ones, sometimes I'll take them and go do something with them because we can, right? Yeah. But other than that, I don't feel like the step grandma.
Yeah, no, you the bonus grandma. You got a good relationship with them.
Yeah.
I know I was talking to a young man in the gym the other day, and we're standing there walking, and this isn't even on the grandparents' realm. It's just relationships of how we grew up, how you just said, you know, there's things that went on that molded you to be how you are and how we treat people that we have to deal with, you know? And we're walking on a treadmill and we're talking about family and relationships. And he was talking about his aunts and, you know, how they've done stuff and they won't say they're from Waterbury, even though they're from Waterbury, blase. And he said, you know, I never heard I love you growing up. And I hear that a lot. I didn't hear I love you growing up. I didn't know my parents loved me. And I looked at him and I said, I don't think I heard it a lot, but I do know
But you
that
knew they
Diane and
loved you.
Skip loved
Yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah.
You know, so that's, I think, is a lot of who we are too, because we're so unsure about our relationship with our parents, and they weren't having those conversations either. They didn't say it a lot. My mom's side didn't say it a lot. The weird thing is my father's side, when they greeted, they hugged, they kissed, I love
loved
you,
you.
you're
Yeah,
beautiful.
my father's side was the same.
But I didn't feel any lack of love from my mom's
Right,
side either,
right.
but I felt that was pretty deep for him, one, as a man, because men are they keep stuff to themselves.
Yeah.
What goes on in the men's room goes
That's
in the
why
men's
they have
room.
heart attacks all the time.
Yeah,
Y'all gotta let it go.
For him
Let it go.
to say,
Talk to somebody.
yeah, that I didn't hear I loved you, and I didn't know my parents loved me. That's hard to grow up with.
You know, yes, right? If he doesn't believe in therapy, he needs to go to therapy, because the reason why I say that is my therapist gave me a reframe when I said I didn't think my mother loved me, right? And there was, she asked me why, and da-da-da. But she gave me a reframe, and also they love to their capacity. Right? So if they weren't told they were loved, they don't know
How
to
do they
say it.
reciprocate
Right.
that?
They don't know how to say it, right? But they show it.
I was going to say, they may not say the words, but they do show it in other ways.
Right. They show it. And the way we always compare somebody else's life to our own, where for me, I say all the time, I wouldn't trade my life, because when you sit and talk to people, you keep talking to people, you realize your life was great,
Right.
compared to, right?
Like you said, what the guy say? We didn't know we was poor growing up.
Right, we didn't know.
We was poor,
exactly,
but we didn't know.
We didn't know, exactly. I remember one of my clients, a male client, that says, I didn't get sick until I was affluent. And affluent just meant a regular job, able to afford a car, able to afford a house,
just
all
being
of
able
that.
to live
That's it.
better than what he grew
But
up
like
with.
you said, moving up and out. And when you move up and out, then you miss those connections.
Yes.
Because now you're, and I'm going to say it this way for lack of a better phrase, so don't kill us, better than.
So we think.
Because now you can afford, right?
What they say, the grass is not always greener on the other
you
side.
still got to water the grass.
Yes.
Regardless, the water don't
still
cost.
work
You
that
still
has
got
to be put in there.
And so I think about that. And I hope whoever's listening to this conversation that can relate, I hope you guys tune in and comment. I want to hear,
because I don't think this has to
this
keep
is
going.
an ongoing
Yes,
conversation.
This conversation
right.
is
so
ongoing.
What type of relationship and how do you forge a relationship with your grandchildren and their moms or their dads? If it's your daughter, how do you forge a relationship with the dad? If it's their the dad, and if it's your son, how do you forge a relationship with the mother? And in a lot of situations too, sometimes these kids are here because they were being reckless in the street. So they don't even have a relationship with each other, let alone with the grandparents, right? And when you don't have a relationship with each other, but you have this child together, and you have to think about this child and how you want this child to grow up. You want this child to grow up knowing they are loved.
They are loved. That's
right?
the most important
they may not
thing.
have been wanted at the beginning, as far as
they
like
weren't planned.
right? But still, you have to think about that, because then those little kids are going to grow up to be adults. And what type of adult do you want that child to be?
Exactly.
If you think about it that way, it's like, what kind of adult do you want your child to be?
Exactly.
Because they're going to emulate what they see. They're going to emulate what they see. If you're always fighting with the parent, if you're always fighting with the grandparent or whatever, they're going to do the same thing, and they're going to pass that on. And do you want that, though?
Right.
Do you want that?
Right.
Because a relationship is not just about monetary things.
Not at all. It really isn't. And I think that's the biggest thing that we have to remember. It's not about money. I could buy you lots of things, but if I don't have a relationship with you and you don't know who I am, let alone you don't know where you came from. And you got to be careful, because these kids growing up in the same town, not knowing their brothers, sisters, cousins, that's the trouble.
That's a different conversation.
Yeah, so you got to be careful with that. And me bringing this topic up was more or less on a personal realm of what was going on in my life, but I know there's different relationships depending on if you have the son or if you have the daughter. And most of the time, grandparents are trying to be the best that they can be.
Absolutely.
You know? But I've heard even in my family, I'm the favorite. I mean, my generation. I was one of the favorites. And it kind of, as a grown lady hearing that, growing up, you think that's the greatest thing. I'm one of the favorites. When you don't know any better, you're a teenager and you're thinking I'm the favorite and grandma likes me better. But as an adult, when you sit back, that is really
It's hurtful.
unfair to the other children, let alone it's torture. Like recently around family, I had one of my grown cousins say, I knew I was one of the favorites. And I couldn't even look at them. I'm like, the point of that was what?
Right.
To make everybody else sitting around feel bad?
But you know what? I grew up where my cousins thought I was the favorite. And
Because you were around more.
Because I was with my grandmother all the time.
Right.
And I'm going
different relationship.
I'm going to say I was
you
the
was
favorite,
one of the
right?
favorites.
But at the same
But
time.
did you walk around saying that?
I did not. No.
Exactly.
And at the same time, I had a cousin say to me, you know, Shawne, I always felt like the black sheep of the family, that, you know, Anna always gave you this or always did this or always did that. And where we were, I said to her, you want to have this conversation now? She said, yeah. I said, okay.
Let's go.
Now, she's one of my cousins that was on drugs and didn't raise her kids. Her mother, my grandmother made sure that their kids knew us, right? That their kids were involved, were included. Okay. So she kept going. And I said to her, let me tell you something. I said, Nana, I feel like you got way more than I did. Let me tell you why. I said, they raised your kids. I said, when everybody went to Florida, I paid for my kids to go to Florida. Your kids were paid by your mother, my aunt, my mother, and Nana. And I said, and when you didn't have, they gave to you. I said, so let's not go down this hole.
Right.
We can go down there. I said, let me tell you something. We got the same love. And I said,
just in a different way.
Right. I said, and they made sure that your kids were included. I said, I had to pay for everything that my kids did. I paid for. Nana didn't pay for them. Mommy didn't pay for them. And she just looked at me. And I said, so if you really want to talk about it, right, I could say that.
Right.
You know, I said, but I won't. I said, because you know what? We made sure that Nana and those made sure that our kids were included at all times. Nobody was left out. Nobody was left out.
She didn't see it from that perspective, though.
But she had to at the end. When I finished, I said, nobody was left out. I said, and you weren't the black sheep. You were high. You were high.
You had something that was more important to you
right?
Than what was going on in the family.
Right? And I said, so, and, you know, thank God now that you're sober, and if it weren't for you, my mother would be dead, because she found my mother on the floor and called the ambulance.
Okay.
So I said, I thank you.
Yeah.
I thank you. Yeah. And she's like, oh, all right. You know what I mean? I said, because listen, we all were loved. We were all loved at different capacities, right? And not one more than the other. Right. We are all individuals and different people, so we're going to get it differently. We're going to feel it differently. I said, but you didn't get less than I did. You didn't.
I think the problem is the communication, though, in our families. Not enough is talked about.
Right.
Because it, you know, not just in that situation, even the situation I was talking about with the cousins and people, you know, some of us grandkids feeling like this one was the favorite. And still to this day, I hear that. We in our 50s, 60s, and people are still talking about you was a favorite and grandma did this and da-da-da-da-da. We don't talk about it in the moment. You know, we were always taught to stay in a kid's place, but I think that communication should have happened with our parents. Hey, but I'm feeling this kind of way.
They didn't know no better. I mean, you got to remember.
Well, no. Maybe they didn't, but I'm saying now, right. So that doesn't continue on.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want ever, like I said, people say, oh, such and such are your favorites. And I say they are not.
Right.
I said, and even if you see me with them a little bit more, they reach out a little bit more.
that, right? When
you
you
know,
think about it.
yeah.
Because I remember my father one day saying to me, your brother only calls me when he wants something. And that clicked in my head to call him just
It's
to be
when
calling him. And that's how
not
I
when
am
I want
today.
something, but
I
say,
will
hey,
call
Dad,
people.
how you doing?
Yeah,
Let me just check in.
That's how I am today.
Yes.
I will call just to check in.
Because you don't want to see somebody's number come up to say, okay, something's wrong or they need something from me. And we fall into those black holes with people to where we have those kind of relationships with said people, whether it's our children or our grandchildren. We do. Nieces or our nephews.
Yeah.
We know the ones that are
out there. Or always call for.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Or always call for.
Because it makes you feel good when you get that text. My nephew, 22, 23? Hey, auntie, how you doing? Just checking in.
Just checking in.
Do you know how good that feels for him to be able to just to say that?
Absolutely.
It's not, hey, auntie, do you have? Hey, auntie, can you do?
Right.
It's just, hey, auntie, I'm just checking in. And I think as with our grandchildren, with mine, like you said, mine are much older than your grandchildren are. You have teenagers, then the youngest is 4. That's important. I don't want to always look up to say, hey, Grandma Tracy, can you send Cash App? You know what I'm saying? This is where, again, that falls on the parents, though.
It does. It really does.
It falls on the parents.
Because it's what you teach them.
Yes.
You know, you
got to have
that.
a relationship outside of it being a monetary relationship.
Yeah.
You do. That communication truly, truly has to be there. So on purpose, I have to start making myself as a grandmother check in a little bit more, but I can't.
But you got to teach them too.
Yeah, I can't pull teeth that they're not going to reply.
Yeah. So I remember saying to my nephew one day, this was a long time ago, I said, I haven't talked to you in a while. I was like, well, auntie, you can call me. I said, you grown. Right. You can call me now.
Right.
You grown. And let me tell you, they do. And we have a chat, a group chat.
Just with your nieces and nephews?
Yeah, with just, my kids are in there too. And it's a group chat, and we put silly stuff in there. Yes, they keep in contact.
Definitely.
And, and so on and so forth. And that... And one of them, my great nephew, said, "Auntie, when we going bowling again?" I said, "Put it in the chat." Well, they're not the grandkids are not in there, but I mean the great nephews and nieces. I said, "Well, tell your dad, tell everybody, let me know when. Yeah. Tell me when to show up." And he goes, "You know what, Auntie? You the one that tells us." I said, "Yeah, I know, but tell me."
I don't have to do it though.
Right?
There's grown people in here. They can do it.
19, 20 now.
Yeah. See, and that left an impression on him. Yeah. So he's like, I like that time with my family.
Right, exactly.
I like that time. And you got to do it every now and again because you got to keep those relationships together.
Absolutely.
So
the moral of the story is,
yes,
it is the parents' responsibility for making sure that they have a relationship with their family. Doesn't matter who's in their family. It doesn't matter which, what part of their family. But it's the parents' responsibility to make sure that they have some type of relationship with their family. Because even if they live across the country, you still can have a conversation. Yes. I mean, you still can, develop a relationship with those people via Zoom.
Yes.
Where you can start a habit of, every once a month, every first Sunday, I see my grandmother via Zoom. Yes. Or I see my auntie via Zoom, or our family just, you know what I mean? Yeah. Because if you don't, these kids are going to think nobody ever came to see me. I don't remember
or
ever
I don't
talking
know this
to
person.
Yeah, I don't know this person.
Yeah.
And they're not going to want to go, I've heard stories where people go, I'm going to have my grandchild this weekend and this, that, and the other. And I go, oh, they're like, no, I do this every summer. So the kid looks forward to coming for the summer.
But
and
you remember that? I was going to say, back in the day, people used to do that. Where'd you go? Down south for 2 weeks.
The summer.
Down south for a month. You went away.
Yep.
And
you knew who your family was.
I don't know why that ever stopped. Like, why did we stop keeping that
tradition?
Again, moving up and out.
Yeah, but it's our responsibility. It's the parents. I'm saying as a parent, it's our responsibility. So even with my kids' grandparents, grandfather, him and their dad didn't have a close relationship, but I was making sure that they knew their grandfather. Yeah, and so they do, and it's so crazy because now that my kids are grown, Cheyenne calls her grandfather all the time, and he's he's getting older now. You could tell, when they start repeating themselves and things like that, but. She's so in tune with, and she was the only girl.
Okay.
So he didn't know what to do with a girl, right? And but the bonus grandmother, she was always, her and Cheyenne, they would cook or do whatever, and they would go down. And sometimes Shy would call me, say, "They left me." I was like, "Did you get up? You know he gets up first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
Everybody gets up. Yeah, but they left me. No, you weren't ready.
You didn't get up, baby.
You know what I mean?
You didn't get up.
You know, I wasn't that. Oh, well,
why
let me
y'all
call
leave my
him.
baby?
Yeah, I wasn't that one. Let me call him and say da 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 da. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the parents.
I bet you after a few times she got up.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. When she wanted to go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but still today, here she's 35 years old, and she worries about him.
Yeah.
And she'll call him, and every now and then he'll call her. And she's like, "I'm just gonna roll up on her." One year she did just roll up on her. It wasn't a good thing, but she did.
Sometimes people want notice.
right. But yeah,
Sometimes
but I'm
people
just
want
saying,
notice.
you know, when you instill that in your children, that their relationship with their family, period, no matter who the family is,
Right.
is important.
It's very important.
And then they can derive their own boundaries if there needs to be boundaries and things like that as they develop that relationship, you know. But
we got to make it intentional at the end of the
Absolutely.
day. That's what we have to do. And you hear people say too, I'm closer to my friends than I am my family, because you know why? I think sometimes we put more effort into that
Friendships.
relationship with the people we grew up, people we call sisters from another mother, than we do with our family. So
do.
that's
true.
part of the reason. And I see my friends more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I do. I see my friends more. I plan things with my friends a little, and I'm speaking about me personally.
Right.
Not that I don't love my cousins, not that I don't love, my extended family. Sometimes that relationship is that family reunion. That one
We ain't
family
even gonna
trip
talk
that we
about
do.
that. Yeah.
You know what I'm
and
saying?
And then we leave it with,
I'ma
we
call
gotta,
you.
yeah.
I'm going to call you. Here's my number.
My cousin the other day, we just came off of our family reunion, and every time we see each other, every 2 years, we say the same thing, right? And I said, we got to be intentional about seeing each other more
Yes.
often. And she lives right here in Connecticut, so it's
Yeah.
not even,
We just
there's
gotta
no
make it
excuse.
work, yeah.
We got to make sure
gotta
that
make it
we
work.
are intentional of seeing each other more often. Matter of fact, I have a lunch date with my other cousin today.
Nice.
And we said the same thing. We don't see each other mostly at all.
And then that's
She's
all it
never
takes.
been
Nothing
to a
major.
family reunion either. You know what I mean? And
so she didn't go on this last one?
no, this is a different
Okay.
cousin. And I am that cousin that will call and say, "Hey, how you doing?" Mm-hmm. I just
She is. She just that
I
sister
am.
that'll just
I
text,
am.
pick
Yep.
up the phone. Hey, I'm
thinking
just
about
checking
you.
in.
I hope all is
That's-
well.
yeah.
And I don't know, Spirit gives me that discernment, because when I do, there's something going on with them at the time. You know, and I do stop and pray. When I think about them, I'll stop and pray for them. And then I'll check in. And if they respond, they respond. If they don't, I pray
Yeah.
for them. But then later they'll call me and they'll go, "Yeah, I was doing this and that was going on and that is going on." And I was like, "All right, well, I don't need to know what's happening. Just wanted to let you know that I was thinking about you. That's all." And that goes a long
It
way.
does. It feels good.
It feels good.
But we also have to reciprocate that.
Yes.
That's what we have to remember.
Yes.
We've got to be intentional, and we have to reciprocate it. We can't say, "Oh, nobody ever checks on me." Well, sit back and say, "Tracy, who did you check on
Who
last?
did you check on? Did you call somebody?
Did you call somebody
Yeah.
and say, 'Hey, I haven't talked to you.
Yeah.
Is everything well?' Not even see how you doing."
Yeah.
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 Sometimes people don't want to have that conversation, because she has called me and she'd be like, "What's going on?" And I'd be like, "Girl, you ain't got enough time." And we're going to leave it right there. Next subject. But,
Yeah.
she does know.
And I don't push it.
Yeah.
I go when she ready.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, when she
Yeah.
ready.
But, yeah.
And same here, if I need to talk to somebody, I'll call and I'll go, "You got a minute?"
Yes.
got
Yes.
a
And there's
minute.
nothing wrong with that. Don't
Nope.
ever feel embarrassed, ashamed to reach out and
Yeah.
say, "Hey, I need to talk."
You got a minute?
Hey, you got an ear.
Yeah. Or I just need to get something off my chest. And I can't say
Listen,
it to whoever it is.
I've done that to her before. Shoot, I'm be
Just
like,
need
okay,
to
I don't
get
know who else to tell, but I got to tell you this, sis. Listen,
And it's usually somebody that you trust with the information, so it's not leaving
right?
from,
right.
whatever.
It's not
it
one of
is.
those, and don't tell nobody.
Right.
If you have to say that to me,
Then
don't tell me.
Don't tell me.
Because
Don't
you
tell
have
me.
to trust in my
Yeah.
relationship with you that what we're talking about goes no further.
Yeah. And then the other thing too is I need to say something, but I don't need you to respond.
Right.
I just need to get
Ain't
this
nothing
off my
wrong with
chest.
that. Yep.
I don't need you to respond. I just get
Yep.
get this off my chest.
Mhm.
And that's happened too. And I go,
You want to say something, but it's already
Yeah.
the blueprint was written,
Yeah.
and you just have to sit back and
Yeah.
listen sometimes.
So imagine, I mean, I feel for people that don't have this type of relationship.
Right.
You know, I feel for
Right.
people that don't have, because I have loving relationships all the way around, from
Yes.
family to friends, all of that.
Yes. So important.
Right. And somebody asked me one day, what do you do with naysayers? You know, and I said, what do you mean? She's like, you know, when you have that person that's negative, da da da. I said, I don't. You know, I said, I know people that are, but they're not close to me.
Right.
You know, they're not. And those that are is usually family.
Right.
You know, and if they are, still at the same time, I'll stop them in their tracks and like, okay, what you want to do about it? What
And
do you
she
want to
will.
do
Look,
about
I'm
it?
tired of hearing about this. So what you gonna do? How you
keep
gonna
complaining
change
about
it?
the same thing? What are you
Yes.
going to do about it? And how
Right.
can I help you do something about it? I don't want it.
Yeah.
You know.
Really, you just don't want it in your spirit. You don't want it
Right.
around you, that aura of
Right.
negativity. Sometimes
Right.
we will go down a rabbit hole with people we love and don't even realize, okay, they just drug me in.
Yeah.
This wasn't
And
what
I'm
I
not-
wanted to do
listen,
today.
I'm not exempt. Don't get me wrong.
No,
I'm
we're
not
human
exempt.
beings, though.
Sometimes we do.
Yeah.
And but
And sometimes you
very
have to, though,
seldom.
too.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to, like, okay, we just going to get down and gritty with
It's
this
like
one.
I need to get this out. This is
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah. And I try to be that way no matter what. So whenever anybody sees me, you know, or whenever I see anybody, I want to make sure that I speak the same way no
Right.
matter what. And
Right.
I may give you I'm a hugger anyway. So I hug everybody. Yesterday I hugged everybody. I was smelling like everything. Yesterday.
That's what you get for hugging it. No.
Not in a bad way. If I hugged you, I meant it, right? But yeah, so you know,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just hope somebody gets something from this conversation. I
Yeah,
hope
we
it-
want you to comment on
Yeah,
it too. We
yeah.
need to expand on these conversations. And I love to hear what people are doing about it.
Yeah.
Everybody's situation is unique. And we're going to have those people who say, I get along with,
everybody.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
works. You know,
yeah.
I'm the grandparent in the middle, but
Yeah.
I have a relationship with, you know, the
Right.
opposite person. And
Right.
that's just lovely. But I would love to hear how do you make it work when you don't?
Yeah.
Tell us how you make it work when you do, because you know, I don't know how to fix it anymore at this
You
point.
ain't supposed to fix it.
I'm not going
First
to.
off,
Yeah,
you give it up
I'm
to
gonna
God.
let. I did, and that's another
Okay,
thing.
you give
When
it
you
up.
leave it in His hands, you got to leave it
Because
in
the
His
only
hands.
person you can change is you.
That's it.
The only person you can
That's
change
it.
is you.
Yep. No, you're right. Because I keep thinking, one more text, one more check, one more try, and I haven't done it, but I have to. At the end of the day, just let it go. Just be the best grandparent that you could be.
Period.
That's
the
all.
best person.
That's it.
And that transcends through as
And
a mother,
just
a
daily
sister, a
things that you
aunt,
do.
a
Yes.
friend, and a
Yes.
grandparent. Period.
Definitely.
And they all have different, what you call it? I was going to say titles, not titles. They all have different roles.
They do.
They all have different roles. And
They definitely
nobody's
do.
perfect.
Nobody is perfect.
If we were perfect, it'd be a different story.
Listen. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this was a good conversation, I
It
think,
is.
today
It
to,
is.
you know,
It was.
welcome us back into the studio,
Uh-huh.
doing our little segment, Here's the Tea
Here's
with
the
Tracy.
tea. Yes, with
So
Tracy.
we'll be dropping
Absolutely.
those little gems in
Gems.
every now and again. So, again, we want you to like, subscribe, and share. Okay?
And comment.
Yes, definitely.
We really want to see how this conversation could expand.
Right.
Because it's needed.
Definitely.
Because this is a conversation we haven't touched before. It's needed. I haven't seen anybody else talk about it because I watch podcasts all the time.
Yeah, it's about our babies.
It's
about
our
futures.
babies. It's about our
Yes.
legacy. It's
Yes.
about, connection, especially we as a people, right? As a people, it is up to us to intentionally
Yes.
keep family close.
Yes. Yes. We thank you for listening.
Thank you. Thank you. So don't forget, if you don't take care of your body, where you going to live? And then I have a new tagline.
Okay.
Change happens one day 1 hour, 1 minute at a time. So if you are that person that is thinking about this conversation and feel like, you may not be able to change anything, you really can. And you can reach out to whoever you need to reach out to and say, you know what? I would like to this or that, right? And it takes the big person, yes, because you're going to have to swallow your pride to reach out to that person that you really want your children to connect with.
Right. Make it happen.
Make it happen. All right.
All righty. Thank you.
Have a good night. Have a good day.
Yes.
Wherever you are in the world. Wherever you are in the world, peace and blessings.
Yes.